Deep in the heart of Germany, there is a place where time itself seems to unravel. A place where travelers vanish, leaving nothing behind but their last terrified words. The Black Forest, it is more than just a name. It is a warning. For centuries, stories have whispered of a presence lurking within the ancient trees, something watching, something waiting. Locals speak of voices calling from the darkness, of shadows that move where no one stands, of a hunger that is never satisfied. People who step too far into the depths of this forest never come back. Some claim they are lost, others say they are taken. But the truth, the real reason why no one returns, is far worse than you can imagine. Long before the world knew of its name, the Black Forest was already feared. The Romans called it Silva Nigra, the Black Woods. To them, it was a place of unnatural silence, where even their hardened soldiers hesitated to march. But the true horror of the forest predates even them. Legends speak of something ancient that lurks within. The Celts believed in spirits that roamed between the trees, demanding offerings and blood. Later, in the Middle Ages, villagers whispered of a creature known only as Der Verschlinger, the devourer, a being that did not kill its victims, but absorbed them, piece by piece, until nothing remained but their echoes in the wind. Even the Brothers Grimm, the famous collectors of fairy tales, found themselves drawn to the forest's disturbing reputation. Many of their stories, Hansel and Gretel, the Pied Piper, spoke of children being lured away by unseen forces. But few realized these were not mere tales. They were warnings. And then there are the disappearances. Hundreds have walked into the Black Forest, never to return. Hikers, hunters, entire search parties. Their last transmissions speak of whispering voices, of unseen figures lurking just beyond sight. And then silence. It began like any other expedition. A group of travelers, drawn by the forest's haunting beauty, determined to prove that the legends were just that, stories. Among them was Daniel, a skeptic and historian; Maria, a photographer obsessed with the macabre; Thomas, a survivalist with years of experience in the wilderness; and the couple, Lot and Eric, eager to capture the aesthetic of the haunted woods. The hikers pause at the entrance to the deeper woods. The sunlight fades unnaturally fast, swallowed by the towering pines. Maria lifts her camera, snapping a photo. Her face creases in confusion as she looks at the image. A dark, humanoid figure stands behind the group, though no one was there. The Black Forest is vast, stretching for miles with no clear paths once you stray too far. They told themselves they would not wander, that they would stick together, but the forest had other plans. Night falls. The group sits around a fire, their expressions tense. A distant rustling echoes beyond the trees, too rhythmic to be the wind. Then came the first sign, the sound, soft, deliberate, footsteps circling their camp, though no one was there. Thomas grips his flashlight, scanning the woods. The beam flickers and dies. Silence follows. Then, a whisper, a single word, stretched unnaturally long, echoing from the darkness. Lot. The group stiffens. Lot's face drains of color. It had spoken her name. Maria fumbles with her camera, snapping another photo toward the darkness. The flash illuminates the trees for a brief second, revealing twisted limbs, eyes gleaming like glass in the underbrush. Then, blackness. The forest had found them, and it was only just beginning. They should have left the moment they heard the whisper. They should have turned back before the forest changed around them. The camera pans out, revealing something unsettling. Their campsite is no longer where they left it. The fire, once near a familiar path, now burns in an unfamiliar clearing. The trees loom closer, their trunks seemingly twisted at unnatural angles, as if they had moved. But the black forest doesn't let go so easily. Maria lifts her camera again, snapping another desperate photo. This time, when she looks at the screen, her breath catches. The image shows their group, but not as they are now. Instead, they are frozen in place, their expressions contorted in silent screams, their eyes hollow. A second later, the camera glitches, the image vanishing. That was when they knew. They weren't alone. They were never alone. Eric stands, his voice shaking with false bravado. "We need to move," he says. "Now." But as they rise, the sound returns, the whispering. This time, it's not one voice, it's many. A chorus of hushed, rasping murmurs, echoing from every direction. Then the footsteps began. Slow, heavy, coming closer. Asterisk. The fire flickers violently, casting writhing shadows onto the trees. Something moves just beyond the light, too fast to see. A sharp cry cuts through the night. Thomas stumbles backward, his face pale. "Something touched me," he gasps. "Something cold." Panic sets in. The group turns to run. But the path is gone. Where once was an opening between the trees, there is now only dense, impenetrable blackness. The forest has swallowed their escape. The whispers rise into laughter, low, mocking, inhuman. And then, the screaming started. Not all of them made it. Thomas stumbles forward, his breath ragged, his body covered in scratches, some too deep to be from branches. Maria grips his arm, pulling him along. But where is Eric? Where is Lot? Their names are lost in the chaos, swallowed by the whispers that now hum like a fevered chant. Maria turns back, gasping. The fire is gone. Their footprints, gone. The trees are closer now, forming an unbroken wall of bark and shadow. It's as if the forest itself is shifting, forcing them deeper. And then, the laughter stops. Silence. Thick, suffocating. The kind of silence that makes the ears ring. Maria's breath hitches. She knows, somehow, that something is watching them. Cut to a close-up of her trembling hands gripping the camera. She raises it, snaps a picture in desperation. The flash illuminates a figure, tall and skeletal, standing just inches behind Thomas. She doesn't even have time to scream. The camera blinks. Static. The screen fractures. When the image clears, Thomas is gone. The trees are still. The forest, indifferent. Maria collapses to her knees, sobbing. Her fingers dig into the cold earth. She doesn't know how long she stays like that. Hours? Minutes? Time has no meaning here. And then, she hears it. A voice. Soft. Familiar. Maria. She turns, hope flickering in her eyes. But the figure standing before her is not Thomas. It's something wearing his face. The smile is too wide. The eyes, too empty. It holds out its hand, waiting. Not all of them made it back. In fact, no one ever did. The Black Forest has always been a place of mystery, a place of beauty, a place of nightmares. Those who enter thinking they will uncover its secrets never return to tell their tale. Some say it's the terrain, others blame wild animals, but those who listen closely, those who hear the whispers, know better. The authorities never find anything. No footprints, no bodies, only the trees. And if you listen, you can hear them whisper. Some forests are not meant to be explored. Some paths should never be followed.